Taylor, grab the camera and show them where that fish bit. He was all the way up in the cattails against those boulders. It is crazy how shallow these fish are. That's a female. I've got a fish. Gosh, there's one, big one. Big one. This is like so not my style of fishing. Painstakingly dragging a wacky rig under a dock. I hate this. Another giant, another giant. Look at that, y'all. I can't believe what I just caught. Yes! What's going on, folks? Welcome back to TRF. My goal with this channel is to help you guys become better bass anglers. And today, we're gonna catch some dang bass as we do that. Now, the thumbnail and title of this video, I don't know what they're gonna be yet, but something around springtime bass fishing, especially up shallow, because we had a heck of a lot of fun. But it didn't start off that way. When Taylor and I got to the lake, it was really cold. I mean, hopefully the last cold front of the year, 40 degrees at takeoff. And so we just kind of decided, you know what, we're gonna go flipping down the bank, see if there's any shallow fish to be caught. And lo and behold, Taylor caught one. 57, okay, water's 57. That's pretty good. Oh. Let's go. Yes, sir. Get him out of there. Get him out of there. Hey.
There we go.
That's what I'm talking about, baby. 3-pounder.
Yeah.
He was shallow.
Yeah, he was.
Goodness, okay. That was fun. I enjoyed watching that. Now, my goals for today were not to fish shallow reeds. I wanted to skip a prototype Outcast tackle swim jig and film a I fished every dock in the lake video. And so I got the jig, skipped it around, caught nothing. And so, I said, you know what? I'm gonna skip this thing around the shallow cattails. And I caught one. Got a 13 off a bed. I don't know why they didn't do a share lunker program with it. Here's one. Got him. Oh, yeah. Come on. Little male. Dude, he's so cold, he can hardly shake. All right, prototype jig, roof of the mouth. Actually got him in like the eyeball socket, goodness. All right, that was fun. And so at that point, the pattern was starting to develop, but I said, you know what, there's gotta be a fish on a dock somewhere, and I came upon the perfect dock. Looks like a little spawning pocket, you know? There should be one. Like this dock should have a fish under it, leading into a spawning pocket, come on. Here we go, big one. I knew it. I knew it. As I called it. Gosh. That is very stereotypical. You know what? You're not even that big. You are just absolutely chunky and hard fighting. Get in here. Yes, sir. All right, Mr. 3-pounder. Wacky rigged him up close to the shoreline.
Chunk.
That's a chunk. And as y'all just heard me say, this kind of dock right here, you're gonna see it on the drone shot, is exactly where the fish should have been this time of the year. That's a spawning pocket. That's the main lake. This is the last piece of structure, and it's a pretty good looking dock. Starts shallow, goes out to, how deep is it out there? 5 feet of water. Oh my gosh, another one. Yeah. There are multiple fish on this dock, man. Even though the fish don't always follow the rule books, they are on this specific instance, especially with the conditions we have today. Bluebird skies post-frontal should be the last cold front we have before the spawn is full blown here. And so some fish that were probably wanting to spawn around this shallow rock, shallow reeds, have pulled back to this dock before the water warms up later this afternoon, where they're gonna slide back up there and make their beds. And you know what? I gotta check the Bass Forecast app, see what it has to say. Because I'm willing to bet it's gonna confirm what I just said. 1.7 slow bass rating, that makes sense for the conditions. Pattern still is spawn though. Once the water warms up and those fish start doing it, they're probably not gonna stop. Wacky rig is on there as a recommended lure. Would you look at that? Secondary points with the dock next to it, which is exactly where I just caught that fish. Just like I thought, Bass Forecast confirming theory. If you have not downloaded Bass Forecast, you are missing out on learning important stuff like this. Only a 3-pounder, but dude, he fought so hard. Now, like I said, a textbook fishing location like that is not always gonna hold a bass, but at least today it did. And I looked around and there were no other docks to be found to skip my wacky rig near, but I knew of some others down lake. So stay tuned, you're gonna see some more wacky rig footage here in a second. So Taylor and I kept fishing shallow, flipping creature baits and jigs around, and just couldn't quite find a bite. And so at that point I said, you know what, the sun's been out long enough, the water's starting to warm a few degrees, the cold front is finally behind us. Let's go down lake and skip around the old wacky rig. Water's climbing, 57.8. I guess the high percentage isn't always gonna work out, but you might as well fish nothing but the high percentage, because you know, it's in the name. It'll still be higher than just fishing random stuff. Gosh, holy smokes. What a chunker. What an absolute chunker this is. Yeah, whoa. I almost didn't make that flip because I was like, man, the wind's really blowing into it. And there's like, I guess it is high percentage next to a retaining wall. Taylor, zoom in on that exact corner I just flipped in right there. That's where I made that cast. Got him on a prototype jig, 3.5 pounder. Just a pre-spawn, although tail's a little bloody, could be a spawner. Prototype jig, making sure the hook's not bent out. It's not. That was fun. But I mean, I was hopping that thing slower than slow. Just hop, hop, which is not my usual jig technique. But this time of the year, you gotta be a little bit more finesse. And I guess, yeah, now that I kind of look at it, it is high percentage. Not that much wind, a little bit of wind right there, retaining wall, edge of the reeds, probably made his bed right there because we had a south wind for days and days and days. So that was protected right there. Now it's not protected, but that fish is not gonna leave at this point. Cool.
You did what?
We played Rock Band as a family.
As a family?
Yeah. Like the game.
Oh, I don't even know what that is.
Really?
Yeah.
You know Guitar Hero?
Yeah.
It's like Guitar Hero, but it has, oh, no way. Get it in here, baby. Taylor Marcel. Absolutely winching a fish in. Oh, baby. I just fished in there. Tell us about it, big dog.
Well, we're just flipping. My favorite thing ever. And we're catching a few.
Oh,
That's really it. Pretty one.
yeah. See ya. Okay, well, that's fun. Yeah, we're talking about Guitar Hero versus Rock Band. And I'm thinking today's gonna be a flipping day. Now, I'm not ruling out the Wacky rig. I know in the intro we talked about throwing a Wacky rig. I'm still gonna go down and hit some key docks doing that, but if we can just go down main lake stretches and we figured out they're actually a little bit further in the cattails than you normally would think. I like to flip the edge because especially during the spawn, the edge is the place to be. I don't know if they are actually farther in the cattails because that's how they spawn here or that's what the weather has dictated they move towards. But Taylor and I are not having a bad time, at least not yet. I really think the key with this time of year, y'all, is to fish your soft plastics slow. Whether you're flipping or just casting around, skipping a Wacky rig under a dock, man, just go extra slow with it. Because whether they are cruising, getting ready to make a bed, or they're sitting on a bed, usually they don't want to like chase something down and gobble it up. That's like a full-blown pre-spawn thing. Oh, it's windy, hello. Yeah, this is not gonna make flipping a light Texas rig easy. I would love to get out of the wind. Dude, I don't know. Because this whole area was protected and now it's not. Goodness, yeah, we gotta get out of here. There probably are fish, but it's a bit too hard to access them right now. Let's head down lake. It's crazy, I can see bass on the boat ramp. You just don't wanna eat. These docks here give me wacky vibes. That's what I'm gonna do. Skipping time. One last call for Wacky rigs, so get yourself a bass today. Gosh, there's one, big one, big one. I don't know how big, but he's got me in all kinds of junk down there. There he is, yes sir. He's not even that big, he's just a chunky boy. Unreal. Gosh, look at that. Oh, my wacky worm's gone. I can boat flip him, look at that fish. Talk about a pre-spawn chunker. This dude had me in all kinds of stuff. But as I thought, getting a little calmer water, and these fish, they either were on beds and backed off because of the weather, or in the case of this one, I don't think he's moved up quite yet. He's staging on these docks before he moves up, probably just to the bank right there to spawn. And that's big belly Kelly, or little big belly Kelly. Not a full giant big belly Kelly, but just like a fatso. I'm curious how much it weighs. Do I have a scale? I'm gonna go 2.75. Okay, 2.31, I got excited. But almost a 2.5 pounder, and he can't be more than 14.5 inches, maybe 15. What a chunk, thank you, buddy. I guess he had me around every kind of piece of wood under there, but just a wacky rig day. It's so much fun. Now, like I mentioned, I've started to go heavier on my line because I don't really think fish care And I mean, that fish took me in all kinds of wood for the first 15 seconds of the fight, and my line feels totally fine. I'm gonna make sure I do one full check here. But yeah, 16 pound R18 is perfectly fine. I know it's expensive fluorocarbon, y'all, but it's good. Especially if you're just using it for your leader line. Spool lasts a long time, and that's some good stuff. 5-inch Ocho, green pumpkin candy. I know who I want to wacky rig. And it remains to be seen, but I don't know if I'm gonna catch one out here. It seems like they're staging on the shallower areas before they, I mean, literally that fish could spawn right there. This is like so not my style of fishing. Just like painstakingly dragging a wacky rig under a dock. I hate this. I want to go to the dam and throw a crankbait, but this is what's been working, so gonna keep doing it. All right, one fish off the dock. I knew there'd be one there. Gosh. Get your butt in here. Yes, sir. Oh, yeah. Yeah, this jig works. Again, are we bent out on a beast of a hook set in a fight? Little bit. Okay, maybe it's not a straight braid type of jig, but that's what I'm talking about right there. Just a big old, I think obviously spawning fish, retaining wall, a little bit of wind. The wind doesn't matter though, the fish is spawning. He's got sores on him, a little bit of bloody tail. Gosh, that's so gorgeous. What a fun bite we're on. I think if we didn't have this cold front, these fish would be like full blown on the bank everywhere. But like I said, they can spawn right here. Bass don't have to go all the way to the very back of a pocket. The main lake's right there. Dock they can stage on. Cattails they can put a bed near. 4.5 pounder. Gosh. Thank you, girl. See you later. If you're not subscribed yet, what are you doing? Hopefully I'm teaching you and you're having fun, because I'm learning and I'm having fun. Let's keep doing it. None of these bites though are like donks. I'm just kind of pulling up and it's like, whoa, there he is. There's a fish in there, relatively big one. I think I skipped in the right. I knew it, oh my God. He wasn't that big. And I'm telling y'all folks, they're in here. The higher that I lift the wacky worm up to the top, gives it more room to fall down there to the bottom. And I just like consciously made myself make a higher lift as I got kind of to the prime area underneath the walkway. And that's exactly when that bite came. Normally on a wacky rig, I'm more like a hop, hop, hop kind of guy. But obviously this time of year, the fish really want that thing falling as much as you can have it. And even though I've gotten every single bite on the wacky worm on the inside area of the dock, I still feel like it's necessary for me at this point to fish the outsides. If it was like a tournament day and I only had a certain amount of time, yes, I would just run through all these docks and just fish the immediate walkway. But Taylor and I got all day, so I'm gonna keep fishing the outsides because maybe some big one is staging out here on the end. Big Sally don't want to mess with the small ones on the beginning of the walkway. She wants to be out here on her own, except we're gonna bother her. As the water is 59.7, we will see 60 degrees within a few minutes. Look at the mighty stars and stripes, baby, flying in the wind. America's back. I ain't seen a bald eagle in a while. Sometimes you'll see a Texas flag and underneath it an American flag. Man, in a few days, if we can get some warmer weather, all these fish that are staging are gonna be spawning up against these retaining walls. I've got a fish. Oh my gosh. That was sick. That was so sick. That hook set gave me life. I kept pulling up and I was like, where's my jig? Where's my jig? Oh, it's running at me. Look at that. Outcast Tackle prototype. Little jig right there, top of the mouth. I gave him the absolute BUSINESS. Just a chunk, just a pre-spawn chunk. Come on, baby. Wow. Somehow the hook is not bent on that. This is crazy. I'm 50-pound braid slacklining him. That was fun. Oh, I love that. Just the perfect spot for a bed to be. Outside of the wind, practically any wind, unless wind comes from like, I guess directly this way, which it never does. That little area right there is totally protected. And he picked up my jig and was just swimming it out of the bed. Yeah, these isolated patches in pockets, well, you are not gonna hear me complain about this. Whoa! I need the wind to blow more. I've heard in DFW, if they say it's like a 10 to 15 mile an hour wind, you just add them together. So today it's blowing 25. All right, one more flip and we're gonna go find ourselves a more secluded pocket. That was fun. This is better depth at least. Oh, got one?
Yep.
Is it small?
No.
I'm backing you in there, buddy. Taylor's got one, folks.
Way back against that rock.
Oh my goodness, that's like a 4-pounder. Oh shoot, you can't get him from there. Keep him pinned. Wow, dude, he was shallow. He's being a great boy. Thank you for not flopping, dude. Yeah, very well behaved bass. Great, what a chunk.
Did a good one?
Yeah. Oh, but he wasn't coming off. You hooked him good.
Sweet.
Here's your fish. Go show the camera.
Yeah.
Oh no, the line is through him. Is it? No, it's not. Never mind.
What a well-behaved chunk.
Yeah. And actually, your line feels pretty good. Sick.
Look how fat that thing is.
Fatty McGee. And he's throwing the lighter Texas rig, as we talked about. VMC 3/0 heavy duty wide gap. Taylor, grab the camera and show them where that fish bit. He was all the way up in the cattails against those boulders. And I just thought, there's no way there's a bass there. It's way too shallow. But you know what? Hard bottom, cattail. I mean, it's the same exact pattern as we had a second ago. And Taylor proved it this time. So there's your rod back.
Thank you.
Just that 3-pounder. I think this bank's too windy. It's got the right cattails and the right depth. It's just not the right conditions. Got him. Gosh. Holy cow. I fought him a little too hard. How's my hook though? Hook's fine. That was just, that was the first knock I've gotten all day. Hey man, the fight's what we do it for. I didn't get the fish in the boat, but that's okay. He was 2 pounds. These fish are fighting so hard for their size. Gosh. It is crazy how shallow these fish are. That's a female. Oh, another 3 and change. Just the tallest looking fish you can have. Jig, roof of the mouth. Y'all, I'm excited for this jig to come out. This is not what I thought we were gonna advertise or market this jig for, but it works. Like I said, dropping around June time frame. Just take a gander at that thing. Holy smokies. That's fun. That's fun. All right, I want to talk a few minutes about our day that Taylor and I just had, because it wasn't the worst. It wasn't the best, but it wasn't the worst for sure. Catching them in the way we caught them was fun in really both ways. I expected to catch more fish on a wacky worm, and we actually ended up catching way more fish flipping than we did wackying, probably because of the conditions. We were able to find more cattails in quasi-protected areas than we were docks in protected areas. Hardly any of those today. And it really seemed like when the water conditions were really calm, Taylor was able to get more bites on his little Texas rig combo here. Little rage bug, as we talked about. And I caught maybe 1 fish on camera on the rage bug, but most of mine came on the new prototype jig from Outcast that I would show to the camera. You can see that part of it, the hook and the skirt. Although this skirt actually just came from an Outcast swim jig, so it's not gonna be the same color. But I will talk about my favorite rod and reel for kind of shallow cover flipping like we're doing today, and it is the Lew's Custom Light 7-1 Heavy. The 7-2 Heavy is also fantastic. The Lew's Tournament Pro, my favorite reel to just beat up. It is an incredibly strong reel, and I've got 50-pound Seaguar Tactics braid, my favorite for fishing around stuff like this, because Tactics cuts vegetation better than Smackdown does. And do you need a heavy power rod for this kind of thing? You don't. Taylor was able to do it on a 7.3 medium heavy, but he had a longer rod, which helps, and he gave him the business. And you can see from my chest mount angle of his catches, he was having kind of trouble getting those fish out of there that a heavy power rod probably would have helped him with. I know I mentioned it earlier, but I've really started to go away from lighter leaders, especially around nasty boat docks like this. So 16-pound Seaguar R18, 5-inch Ocho, and my favorite VMC weedless wacky hook right there, perfect for wacky rigs and Nico rigs. The only spinning reel any freshwater angler ever needs, the Custom Light Shallow Spool, and my 610 medium heavy extra fast signature series. So that was a fun day. Taylor, you have fun? Oh yeah. hopefully y'all enjoyed this video. Again, thanks to my own merch brand for sponsoring this video. If you want to check out the Give 'em the Business short sleeve shirts, it's coming that time of year again. I will leave them down below in the video description. If you want to see my my spring soft plastics video that I just launched on the channel, where I actually talked about fishing all these different soft plastics in the springtime, whammy, it'll be up here in the corner, and my entire 200 pond series. I know this is a Bass Boat Center video, but a lot of this stuff applies to you guys in kayaks and on the banks as well. That'll be up here in this corner. My name is Tyler. As always, it's a dang pleasure, and we'll see y'all next time right here on TRF.